What's happening, people? So today's episode, I'll be talking about a statement what someone told me when I was like 17, when I first got into plumbing. The statement is, you'll never be rich being a plumber, but you'll be better off than your mates. Yeah. And how did I interpretate that? I'm like, what the fuck did you say, Jack? I won't be rich being a plumber. Um, the idea when you get a job is obviously to make money. If you get rich from it or make loads of money, that's like, I look at that as kind of like potluck. Do you get it? I've always signed up for a wage to be able to receive that wage, yeah? And that wage probably only unless I work overtime or anything like that, or else there's some type of bonus scheme, which I haven't been at a lot of places where there are. So my wages is my wages at the end of the day. How did I take that as like a young 17-year-old when someone said, you won't be rich being a plumber, but you'll have more money than your friends? For years, that didn't stick in with me, yeah, but it is very true. So you do earn quite a lot of money being a plumber, but you've got to be active, you've got to be physical, because it's a physical job at the end of the day. Getting up, going certain places, getting into crevices, going up to lofts, doing all of that type of stuff. It's not your average day of like an average person when they sit at a desk or type or do an office job. It's very different, isn't it? Me as a plumber, I can do 10,000 steps before 12 o'clock and I'm working till 5. So you can imagine how much more extra steps I do. And that's just counting steps. That's not counting movements with my hands or anything like that. So it is definitely a job which takes up a lot of energy and time. So I kind of got that understanding, but what else? Why is it that we can't make that type of level of money? And it's probably down to how the game is in its whole entirety. Yeah. So I've done some research before I started this video, and I found out that construction people stay within their job in their industry for up to about 10 years. Yeah. What was the other stat that I found? And the amount of hours that you have to work. Yeah. So on average, we do between 40 to 49 hours per week, yeah? So if you want to make the extra, you know that you've got to work weekends. On average, people who sign up to like unions and things like that, yeah, they stay within the industry on average up to 17.5 years. It's quite a long time, nearly 20 years, basically. So they're going to be staying within the industry. So when people stay for so long or stay during that time, it doesn't create time or new positions, does it? Because those people still hold those same said positions, whether it be chief inspector or whether it be director, whether it be supervisor, whether it be manager, whether it be assistant manager, you know, they're going to stay in those positions for 17 years or so. So it's a long time to be waiting for another position to open when these people still work there. So clearly there's no space to go. Within my own experience with being in the construction industry, I definitely feel as if it's not a place where you can super progress. Like, you know, like you might be. So I've been like a plumber on the site, yeah, and I've been a supervisor on a site, supervising the whole site, and I've been the lead engineer of a whole site, where pretty much everything was down to myself, and I'm still reporting to people, but the next person up is the contracts manager from me, and there's another manager on top of that manager. But that's just how that organization is ran, and it's like how many branches of people we could have on. But because there's so many branches of people, you will never get paid the big bucks. I don't think people understand that. The big bucks are not coming. They're not there at the end of the day. It's a reality, but the time what you spend during that time is years which you can't get back. You you might have something like a pension if you're working for these people, so that might be okay, but you know, most of your pension you're never going to see anywhere in it, so we don't want to start that debate. But it's something which obviously has to be spoken about at some point, because I think that a lot of people don't realize these things. Like, you don't realize that the average wage, which I put in a video before, because I like to check facts with things before I start to say them. So the average wage for an average plumber is like 40, what was it, 42 or 46,000? But let's be honest, most people are not averaging the average. And that's the whole point about it. At the end of the day, if people are still giving away 35K salaries, it's below average. So therefore you're getting paid under the average salary for someone of that trade, which happens oftenly within the industry to a lot of people. You know, I worked with a tradesperson and we worked at a hospital one time, yeah? And this person was a qualified Sparky, so he's a qualified electrician, had his qualifications for about 5 years. He went through a process, which was he worked for a company that was doing the in-house maintenance at the hospital. So they had his paperwork, knew what he'd done, knows he had finished college 3 years ago, but still had him on a apprentice pay packet. He didn't notice as well, but it's only when he checked it after a couple of times, 2 years later, he started saying, "Oh, what's going on here?" But it's one of them things, isn't it? Like, you don't know if it was someone trying something cheeky or someone not doing the paperwork or someone not checking up. But those are little slip through gaps which often happen. And if people can get away with paying you less, guess what? They will. It's a fact. Like, you may know after some years, like I know as a tradesperson, somebody wants me to, if I've got to fit in, if I'm on a like contract day rate job, yeah, I'm not trying to kill myself with work. I'm doing 4 hours worth of work, if that, and then kind of like chilling back, because people will ask me to do more things than what you're ever even paying me for at any point. But subconsciously, I know that, innit? So I'm aware of that. So what I do is I just don't subscribe to all that, because again, you'll have something to do every single day, and it's kind of like a wear down on you. So you kind of get away from your goal, which is making money. Like I said, we started off by making money, or the goal was just to make money within this industry while we do it. But you just come across so many different hurdles, and some of them hurdles are like, they're purpose people who have been not put in place, but yeah, they have been put in place to stagnate your growth. Um, every tradesperson doesn't want to go out and start doing private jobs or start adding more jobs to their day and stuff like that just to make their quota of a certain amount of money. But I'll be honest, from my own experience over the years, I think that's kind of the only way to say that you're going to reach a certain goal, because you get to a certain age in your life, yeah, and you're more focused on having a family and enjoying the rest of the parts of your life, holidays, all of these types of things, kids, you know what I mean? So you're looking for more of stable environment to be able to bring people up in, and to be able to say that, yeah, I'm able to provide as a provider, right? So When I look at that, that lets me say that the time that you got to try and make this money, like the timeline, yeah, it's quite short, and it's a young person's game, to be honest with you. Because when you're young, you have a lot more time to be able to do jobs. You're more active. You're more able to do an hour and a half drive just to go and get some money or just to go and do that job. Um, as you get older, you start to maths more. You start to do more maths. So you start to understand what's worth it and worth your time and your energy. And you might look at a job and say, it's an hour and a half away. I'm only charging them, I don't know, £150. It's not really worth it, is it? No, it's not. Leave it to the next one. Because you have confidence within yourself at this time. So you know other jobs are going to come and you don't have to jump at every single job, but it gets you away from your quota or your goal at the end, which is a round figure. I can't say that everybody thinks like that or looks at the industry or says to themselves, do you know what? I'm never going to get rich. I'm going to make money, but I'm never going to get rich. Rich is a word which people use when they have a certain amount of money. Some people might feel they're rich by having the things what they have already. You know, that's all down to how you interpretate that for yourself. But rich for me is enough money to stop all of this and just live on that money. That's rich money for me. And I think you've got to be consistent at that. You've got to be determined to be able to get that. There are some people that slip through the gaps, good connections, and building bridges with people will allow a lot of other entities to bring you in on their ideas, their projects, their big builds, which you might clear a lot of money from, or just to be involved in it. And that's like that's the cream on the top. But I just don't I personally just don't know enough people who have reached that level to be able to say that, because even when I've been contracting and doing jobbing jobs and probably making most of the money there, um, most people have been very kind of like reluctant to be able to tell you about how they get their source of jobs. So it's always, oh, my mate, what's your mate's name? Ah, my pal that I know, innit? What's your pal's name? They can't tell you what their pal's name is. Maybe it's something to do with they don't want to, or secrecy, or sworn to secrecy at the end of the day. I do understand that this industry has a lot of like people who look after people. So if you do a job, let me take you to memory lane. So I used to do fitting in water meters. No, sorry, they were booster pumps. I've done water meters as well. Booster pumps, yeah. So we used to get these weird little contracts where we'd have to fit in a booster pump, and it would be in like in Slough, yeah. So I don't work in London, so I don't mind telling you about anywhere else not in London. So I used to work in. I used to go to Slough. I've installed a booster pump on the Nat West on the high road, if you know where that is, right? And in the cinema. Um, I used to think to myself, how does this guy get these contracts? Like, how does he know that these people are having problems with their pressure inside a property, inside a dwelling like this? Like, it's not West. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out. Anyway, this guy used to work for Thames Water, so he's got his hand in that pie, taking that information, using it for his own company, spinning back money, and then also doing favors on top of that for the guy who's giving him the work. Like, we're doing his bathroom. Like, one day he's called me and he said, oh, could you go to Nottingham? I said, no. What for? Oh, it's for a favor. Like, I'll pay you extra. I'll pay you extra. I'm like, you're gonna have to, but who is it for? Why are we doing bathrooms instead of instead of pumps now. Like, what's going on? Oh no, one of my pals and blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, done the job. And that's when I've really found out, oh, this is how you get the jobs. So many people won't speak about people's kickbacks and stuff like that because it's their business, isn't it? And that's just something which I was aware of. Again, I didn't know that that's what I was walking into. Did it bother me at any point? Not really. To be honest, not really. It's not my business at the end of the day. It's his business. Do you know what I mean? That's how he makes his money, and that's how we get paid, isn't it? But when you understand some of the methods people use, it makes people want to get more creative themselves to be able to undercut people or to be able to get to the source straight away. You know, like many people have got contracts with councils and stuff like that. Again, this is people who you know, people who you go drinking with, people who they do favors for and stuff like that. It's very common, isn't it? That's why it's really hard for people to get on, and people just don't understand why they're not gonna get like super rich out of it, because people are there before you. Do you know what I mean? They've made a move on the competition before you knew who the competition was. So it's interesting to understand, but it brings me back to my same point at the beginning. When I was an apprentice, my plumber, who I used to work with day in, day out, said, look, you're going to have a lot of money being a plumber, more money than your mates, but you're not going to be rich. Again, when I was at that age, thinking about, I'm jumping into this trade, I've been in there like 4 years now, and you're telling me this. Why didn't you tell me this on the first day, man? And I'm looking at him in the van like, Jack, why didn't you tell me this before, man? This is crazy. You know me, you know, I'm like, if we're not here for the Benjis, I might be out. I'm out. This doesn't make sense. You told me. But anyway, I stuck with it, and sticking with something allows you to see something for yourself, innit? Sometimes people's influence on you at the time will have a big impact. It did have a big impact on me. It made me think subconsciously, I do want to make money in this, but I've had to work harder than other people and work really hard all the time, just because I need to be better. I need to be the best version of myself, period. And the best version of yourself is going to get paid the most. When you're most alert, when you're most up for it, when you're most in tune with being what I am, which is a plumber, when I come across circumstances like jobs and stuff, it's very easy for me to get it on because I've done that fast pace of work, and that fast pace of work definitely allowed me to see if I had any level of skill, any level of understanding when it comes to dealing with multiple clients, multiple customers at one point. So I might go to, there was a point where I would go to like 9 or 10 properties in one day. And again, I'm writing reports, I'm ordering stuff, I'm making sure stuff is lined up for the next day. I'm making sure that I'm reporting back to the office and telling them what's going on, because they have no idea. And again, I'm still trying to keep my job at this point. So you're trying to keep everything together. It does help me. That did help me move more efficient. And it did make me say to myself, you know what? You can now start doing this for yourself and start earning way more of that money. And way more of that money made me think to myself, do you know what? I didn't want to fall into that part where you was just being greedy about the money, because yes, I am here to make money as a plumber, but I'm also here to be able to change my life for the better. Do you get it? Within giving myself something to look forward to at the end of the day when I'm finished plumbing and stuff. So I always have to think about that plan as well in my head, because it has to be a plan, you know. But when I went to meet with my plumber 18 years later, I made a video about this, and he's told me how proud he was of me for sticking with plumbing, because he knows that, like, it's not a easy industry to stay in, especially in the UK. There's so much competition. There's so much people who will say, you know, I'll do the job for £60. And they might need that £60. They could probably do it for £60, but I'm not willing to do it for that price. So we've always got to compete with stuff like that. I think sometimes you have this additional added pressure, because I've realized a little formula how to get clients or how to get my next customer. I'm always having to do a better version of that. So a better version of showcasing myself so I can create more customers and more need for my business. Do you get it? But I've got a service-based business. So when people need the business, they will pay and they will come through. You got to just trust within the process. Nothing good happens overnight. I'll keep saying that, man. Nothing good happens overnight. Trust me. It's been a long time since I've been like just having to build my character online, being confident, being able to come on and make videos like this, to be able to talk to you guys so you guys can have an understanding about when people say, oh, plumbers are rich and blah, blah, blah. Look, a lot of people got a lot of going outs, yeah? Expenses. I would say minimum alone, what I've spent on tools, 15 grand, probably a bit more. 15 grand and probably a bit more, definitely. So it's not a cheap thing. I haven't got everything, and that's the thing. Even though little influence status and whatever, it doesn't allow me to still afford every single tool or specialist tool which I might need for my job. I would love to get a drain cleaning machine, a certain type of one. They cost out about £2,000. Still got to save up my pennies to sort it out. But I know that's going to bring more business, but equally, I'll have to put in a certain amount of work to be able to reap the profits from that. Do you get it? So it's still a battle situation, but I don't think I feel like I want to give up. I don't feel like I'm not getting anywhere, because the process can be slow, but it can be a learning process. And when you're learning stuff, yeah, it's interesting, because when you're going through the motions, you don't know what you're doing. You're winging it. A lot of people wing it within this industry, which I know because I've met them. I know they don't even know what they're talking about. I know at some points I've not been sure what I'm talking about until I talk to more experienced people who I can share the conversation openly and comfortable and not feel like I'm being judged because I don't know. I'm openly telling them, boy, I don't know about this, you know, could you help me out with this? Yeah, what it is this and that. Oh, right. Thank you for that. Because the sharing of information will make you wiser. On God. On God. Just listen to it. Listen to it and fact check it yourself. Like, before I made this video, I had to fact check how long people have been in the construction industry, because certain things what I wanted to say had to make sense. If you have the same person holding this supervisor job for 17 years and he's signed up to a union, so on average, they say like union people stay around for 17 years and people stay within their trade for, I'm going to tell you again, because this is just the one that's on Google, on an average of 10 years. So think about that. You're a engineer or you're a plumber at a job, yeah? That person's going to stay in that job, who's your supervisor or your manager, for an average of 10 years. So another 10 years you're going to be there, and you might have another supervisor. When are you going to become a supervisor? You're not going to make any dough there. It's not going to happen. You're just going to get your basic. So doing a little bit more will allow you to have a little bit more, but that's accounting that you're getting over the average salary, which I explained before. The average salary is near 40 to 60, 40 to, sorry, 42 to 46K. That's what it says online, 42 to 46K. So that's the average. So you need to be getting way over the average. You need to be getting like 60s to 70s, just being honest with you. Doesn't happen a lot, but never be deterred because it doesn't happen to other people. Again, I've had to, when I've been out here, is tell them what I want. I want this. I want that. I want this much. That's not enough. Oh yeah, but you know, like, well, yeah. Again, negotiations are up for negotiations, but it's not always up for conversation when it comes to this is what I need and this is what you can give. Okay, it's not going to work then, is it? Let's keep it moving. Oh, but can't you? No, I can't. I can't do that. I can't. It just doesn't make sense for me, and it's not profitable. So why would I go against that? And when you explain that to a lot of people, they're like, yeah, I know what you mean. So if you know what I mean, why did you say it? You just thought you'd try your luck. So I'm going to try my luck with you now. You might be telling me your salary is 50K or 55K. I want 60. Oh, I can't do 60. Well, I can't do 55 then, innit? Oh, can't we meet somewhere in the middle? No, it's mine now. So if somebody wants you in these situations, more time people are going to have to pay because you will allow yourself or show them that I've got other offers on the table, you know, by Friday, I want to wrap this thing up. So if you haven't got an answer for me, I will be going with my other offer who has more benefits to working for them, or there's more in a benefit package for working for them. Do you get it? So I know people add up the benefits, what you do get from a job plus your salary, but it depends on what type of company you're working for. And that's just going deeper and deeper into companies, but I'm not going to start talking about that because it's about, is it worth it, innit? And it's worth working hard for something. I wouldn't say it's unachievable. I would say that it comes with great struggle and determination, but I'm yet to get there myself, but I'm definitely not giving up because times definitely change. People give opportunities to different people, and all it's about is someone giving you an opportunity. You know, a job's just a job. They come, they go, and many good tradespeople know this, innit? You know, as you get older, it makes more sense to have a full-time job because look, I don't want to be running about for money. You need regular money. You want a mortgage. You want to pay off your house. You want to buy your house. You want to go on holiday. You want to live your life. That's it. And that's why I can understand why my mentor would turn around and say to me, do you know what? You're not going to be rich as a plumber, but you're going to have more money than your friends. True fact. It was a very, very true fact. I just wish that I knew like how I could tackle that better, but you got to get your experience within the game. You got to get your feet wet. You got to understand what you're probably good at, what other people are not that good at. Do you get it? So you might double down and say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to be a person that just does bathroom suites. I'm going to be a person that just does boiler swaps. I'm going to be a person that just does high-end taps. I've never thought about it like that, but maybe if you specialized in one area, obviously you'll get quicker at it and it will be more efficient for you to do because you'd be more clued up on what it is. To be a master of all of it is just really hard, but that's how you're gonna sometimes get work, is the frequency of it might be a tap, a toilet one day, a boiler swap another day. So they can all be different, so it can keep everything interesting, but keep you versatile on the loads of different types of jobs which we do get in our industry. So yeah, I want to always keep on saying that even though I say these things, like, is it worth it? And these people do say these things to me. They obviously do have an impact on me, but it's not a negative one. I want to just remind you that these people, when they say that to me, he's saying this out of kindness and saying that out of his own experiences. And my own experiences kind of back that up with him, because we do chase money in this industry. It's a job, isn't it? We need to get paid. It's not a cheap trade. And it's a trade which I have enjoyed for many years. So I enjoy what I do. I can't tell you that I don't. Like, I wouldn't really do anything else. But the struggle to make money within it and be rich is like playing chess. That's the only way I can describe it. You need to make good moves so you can make your next move even better. And now I'm going to end the video. So what I want you to do now is subscribe to my YouTube channel, because on my YouTube channel is where I tell these types of tales, which is, you know, what someone told me when I was an apprentice. Is it worth it? No, the word weren't really, is it worth it? What he said to me was, you know, you're not going to be rich being a plumber, but you're going to have more money than your friends. And that made me ask myself, is it worth it? I'll be honest. I asked myself that this morning, and I said, yeah, actually it is. And I'm going to talk about it. So here's this video. So let me know what you think below on this video, because again, this is my own thoughts, innit? So do you feel that you could be rich being a plumber? And this applies to people in the UK, but anyone can answer this question all over the world, because the same thing applies. Like, you have people that undercut people, you have handymen that take a portion of your jobs. You've got a lot of online platforms that now start and filtering jobs to people and making them pay for leads and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with it. You need more people within the industry, because if somebody breaks something, they're gonna have to get someone that knows about fixing it, i.e. me. So it creates a lot of channels of jobs for different people. And you need, and sometimes the competition as well with the companies creates higher rates as well. So creating a more competitive rate, that's what they call it, is better for tradespeople. You know, you need things to go up at the end of the day. The average cost of an hour of a plumber's work is, I think that, like, in London now, I think it's about £90 an hour or something like that. I'm not quite sure. I charge quite a little bit more than that, but that's what I need for me to be comfortable. And comfortable is what it's all about, I think. Yeah, being comfortable, because rich might be an oversight when you think about being rich as a whole thing, but being comfortable is necessary when you work so hard and you put so much effort into what you do. So never stop putting effort into what you're doing. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to slow down. I'm going to keep on continuing with the same momentum. Like I said, this was just a quick conversation of something which someone said to me when I was an apprentice. So I wanted to bring it up with you guys to share your thoughts and to ask you what you think about it. Do you know what I mean? So make sure you like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Mr. London Plumber. The question before we leave is what I said in the beginning. Are you never going to be rich from being a plumber, but you're going to have more money than your mates? I conclude that with, it just depends what your mates do, innit? Some of my mates have been professional football players, so the answer to that for me was definitely no. Like, share, and subscribe.